What's going on? Men of Prestige, ladies and gentlemen, the Prestige family, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We got a very nice topic that we are going to cover today. Divorce is not natural. We're going to talk about divorce is not natural, and it's going to feature a few statements and lessons, if you will, from Korra Obidi and Blessing CEO. Let's get to it. All right, all right, all right. Welcome back to Men of Prestige. What's going on, the Prestige family? We've decided we're gonna go with the Prestige family. If you're here right now, hanging out with me, shout out to you because we're doing this together. You are one of the Prestige family. We're going to have a good time for 1 hour. 1 hour, 3 to 5 times a week, just talking about relationships and making sure that we're feeding our health, emotional health, mental health, because we can't avoid relationships. It's just what it is. I don't care if we're talking personal, I don't care if we're talking business, I don't care what aspect of life we're talking about. So, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're brand new here for the first time, please hit subscribe. Okay, make sure you're sharing this video, make sure you're participating in the chat area whenever I ask any questions because I want to learn from you directly or indirectly. Okay. So today we're talking about she said divorce is not natural, then this happened. That's what we're talking about. But before we get into it, let me just shout out to Onyiye. Onyiye, shout out to you. Thanks for stopping by. Where are you calling from? I am wondering. All right. All right. And shout out to the rest of you that you're watching me right now. Okay. Right now, the platform, let me just see. Let me just go ahead and see. We do have about two different words to cover today. Okay. Right now, the platform is at, I'm going to tell you, we're trying to get to 1,000. Uh-oh. I hit the wrong one. Let me see here. We're trying to get to, we're at 953. We're 47 subscribers away from 1,000. After 1,000, the next stop is going to be 5,000. After 5,000, the next stop is going to be 10,000. We will be growing the family. You can hardly hear me. Interesting. Let me see here. Let me just test the audio. Let me make sure the audio is fine. Let's just make sure. All right. All right. It should be fine now. It should be fine now. Let me just make sure. Can hardly hear me. Let's make sure. All right. Sounds good now, right? Should be fine right now. Right? Trying to make sure that we can. Thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you. I appreciate that. The gain is top. So we should be fine now. Is it good? Is it good? Are we good to go? Let me know. Thank you. Is it good? Is it good? Is it good? Better than it was. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. All right, so we're talking about. Please go ahead and again hit the like button. Subscribe. That lets everyone know we're here. Okay. Thank you so much in advance for doing that. Okay. Yesterday the likes was everybody was participating, so I appreciate you for that. If you were here yesterday, everyone was participating. So that's good news for us. Like I said, we're 953 subscribers right now. We're trying to get to 1,000. So the more you're hitting that like button, the longer you're watching, all that, right? The more, the more you're participating, because I don't want to be preaching to myself. Right now, let me just go ahead and drop the link just in case you want to come up and chop it up with me. That opportunity is always available to the Prestige family. All right. You can always come up and chop it up with me. Right. Nonetheless, if you're here, I appreciate you regardless. We will have fun. So I just dropped the link, and I'm also going to go ahead and pin that link to the top. So in case anybody comes in and they're asking for the link, you just let them know to look to the top. All right. So we're talking about divorce not being natural. That statement, I'm not too clear about what it means. I'm going to play two videos today. I want to play two videos. Um, Maybe you can help me understand what it means. Uh, a lot of time, there's a lot of rhetoric out here on the internet, especially, which is the real people, just us, real people, right? It's a lot of rhetoric, and everyone is speaking from their experience, including myself, and it is what it is. But we have to interact with each other, either we like it or not. That's the reality. The reality is that we don't live. There's no individual that live in a cave. If you did, you wouldn't be on this video right now. At the very minimum, you're exposed to the rest of the world, and you're watching me from an internet connection somewhere. So that means you're open to learning from others. So even if you don't realize it, you're interacting with everyone else. So that means you have vested interest in learning how to create good results, better results, and the best results available when it comes to interaction with other human beings and relationships. Okay, um, and up to marriage, right? I don't talk much about marriage because I believe it's the same principles that guide. People try to separate it. Yes, of course, from every level, hierarchy in relationship types, there are differences that are unique to each stage, from dating to relationship to marriage. Yes, there are some differences, but at a fundamental level, it's the same skill set that's required uh, in terms of your social skills and in terms of your social skills and emotional intelligence. Those two things are extremely hard because that's like asking you to observe yourself. Self awareness is very, very hard, right? So that's why if self confidence or self worth, if it's shot, right? If it's not in a good place, it's almost impossible to get it back. Okay, it's almost impossible to get it back. So right now, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and play those videos for you, right? And then we'll take it from there. Uh, I'm gonna figure out eventually how to play into in audio on StreamYard eventually. So for now, I know you probably couldn't hear me for a second because I just directed the mic to the computer so you can hear those videos. So let's go ahead and play those videos. First video I want to play to you is from a young lady. Um, it's a young lady called Blessing CEO. She became popular on social media some few years back because she was caught lying about the ownership of someone else's house. Okay. But since then, she's managed to rebrand herself. Again, another example that I do think any one of us can rebrand ourselves after falling from grace. Okay. But it's extremely hard to do because people get caught up in their emotions. They get caught up in the in trying to look good on the outside. They get caught up in trying to buy back a lost grace, right? As opposed to focus on a mission that's bigger than life, right? And honestly, it's just a matter of time before it's easy to regain back, you know. But anyway, let me go back and play this video. Uh, but before I play this video, let me do a few shout outs really quickly for everyone that's listening to me. Shout out to Gorex Corner. Shout out to John. And shout out to, yes, Gores. And shout out to all the rest of the 16 people watching me right now. Shout out to you all, okay? So let me go ahead and again, as you're coming in, make sure you're hitting the like button. Make it a practice. Just do it, okay? Just do it as soon as you're coming in, okay? Um, and if you have to leave, make sure you save the video until you watch later. I promise you, there's not really one moment you want to miss, okay? So let me go ahead and play that video for you. And while I do that, I just want to make sure that I'm showing the title on the screen. There you go. All right. Let's see. Yes, and let me see here. I think so. Michael, damaged fault. Thank you to you. Thank you. Enjoying the show and your perspective on these issues. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. And Audrey from New Jersey. That's my neighbor. Shout out to you, Audrey. All right, kid. Let's go back to. All right. I'm just trying to show. Okay, there we go. We have the screen up. We have the screen up. So we're going to a couple of things here that I see on Instagram on a daily basis, and I feel like we can learn one or two things. I want your opinion. I'm gonna play the video, and then I want your opinion after it. Okay. The first one we're gonna dig in through is this one right here, and let's get into it. Confess. Forgive yourself and move on. Let me play it again. When you cheat, don't confess, especially when you are not caught. Forgive yourself and move on. Confession will not change anything. They are not Jesus Christ. They will judge you. Learn to shut up. When it comes to cheating, a lot of you actually think that when you confess to your spouses that you cheated, especially when you are not caught, busybody, especially when you are not caught, you actually think that when you confess to your spouses, they would love you, they will forgive you. They will not. They will judge you because they are human. Now, when you cheat and you don't get caught, that guilt simply means you are human. You still have a conscience. You still feel something for them. Forgive yourself. Confess to God and move on. Confessing to your spouses will not stop you from cheating. Because when you were going to cheat, you did not tell them. Now that you have cheated, they don't need to know. All you need to do is ask yourself what is called inner questions. Let me tell you something. This thing called change does not start from talking. This thing called change starts from yourself. If you want to change, you don't need to tell somebody I want to change. You start to internalize it. And this change actually starts from asking yourself question, why did I even cheat? What did he do wrong? You know, when you internalize it and understand that, this person did not even do me anything. No, it was a mistake. Or, I was horny you, blah, blah, blah. You will now understand the reason why you did that thing. Confessing to the person will not change anything. I know most of you want to confess so that you want to act like a good girl, a good boy, so that they will trust you. They will not trust you. They will judge you. Human beings are human beings. They are not God. Why? Because they cannot see your intention. They only see your action. The reason why it's so easy for God to forgive us our sins is because he sees our intention. If people can actually see your intention, they would forgive you. But human beings cannot. It's only what you put out. Even if you had a good intention, sometimes we cheat for different reasons. Even though I'm not an advocate that cheating is a mistake, but you have a reason why you did that. It could be that you were vulnerable. It could be that you desired something at that point in time. It's just between you and your God. And intention is not what human being can internalize. They don't understand intention. They only understand action. So there is no amount of explanation you want to give to your spouses. I cheated because you are not around. I cheated because you traveled. You always look stupid. In as much as they say that they will forgive you, they will always use it against you. Especially women. Especially women. You have cheated. We have heard you. Can you just shut up and go to God and pray? Especially if they did not catch you. And if they catch you, you can now confess because you cannot be lying. But if they did not catch you, shut up. Forgive yourself and move on. You don't have to be running your mouth. You're trying to be a good girl. You're trying to be a good girl. That's not how to be a good girl. Being a good girl simply means when you cheat, you forgive yourself and don't do it again. You don't need to go and be confessing and running your mouth, busybody. Just talk too much. If you don't have anything to talk about in your relationship or marriage, chew gum. Some things are better left unsaid. Shut up. That's why God gave you a heart that nobody can see. Only you can internalize it. Busybody, radio with that battery. Pro. Shut up. Tap. When you cheat, don't confess. All right. Especially when you are not caught. Forgive yourself and move. All right. So let's dissect this together. Let's dissect it together. What are your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen? Man of Prestige, the Prestige family. What are your thoughts after listening to that? What are your thoughts after listening to that? I want to know. Participate. What are your thoughts, right? We're going to pick it apart, okay? Hey, Yvette. Welcome back, Yvette. Welcome. What are your thoughts about that? Do you need me to play this again? But anyway, let me just do something really quickly, right? We're going to dissect it, right? When you cheat, don't confess, especially when you are not caught. When you cheat, don't confess, especially when you're not caught. What are your thoughts? Let me know, ladies and gentlemen. What are your thoughts? If you cheat, she says, don't confess. Right? Is there any context where this will ever make sense? Or it doesn't make sense to you? Does it make sense to you or it doesn't make sense to you? Let me know. Don't just go quiet on me. Let me know your thoughts right now. I know you want to know what I think about this. I know, but let me know your thoughts, okay? When you cheat, don't confess, right? What are your thoughts about this? What are your thoughts about this? When you cheat, don't confess, okay? Don't confess. That's our advice, right? Just keep it moving. Act like it's never happened before, right? She had some reasons why you shouldn't confess, right? She has some reasons, so let's play a little bit more of it, right? Forgive yourself and move on. Confession will not change anything. Forgive yourself and move on. Confession will not change anything. I do think confession will change a lot, right? Now the question is that going to change it for good or for bad? Right? Then I also think that forgiving yourself is actually one of the hardest things for human beings to do because we have a conscience. No matter how bad we are, we have a conscience. In fact, when you see people overly defensive or when people are overly defensive or they're trying to shalaye, they're trying to explain themselves. It's a sign, it's a classic sign that they're having a hard time moving forward. They need other people to validate them. All of us, to an extent, we need validation, right? I know that, especially men, gentlemen, we tell ourselves, you shouldn't need a validation from a woman. You're right. You shouldn't need validation from a woman, but validation feels good. I'm sorry, right? I'm sorry, it feels good. If I do something nice and good, and and even though I'm doing it just because I'm supposed to, it feels good if my wife says, "Babe, I appreciate you doing that." It feels good. So let's not cap about that, right? It feels good, right? So let's keep going here. Let's keep going. So I do think forgiving yourself is a good word. Um, so even if you're confessing, just understand that if you confess and you have a hard time forgiving yourself, you're still going to struggle because you're going to be needing the other person to forgive you. And if they're not able to forgive you, then you're going to engage trying to manipulate them into forgiving you. And we all know that manipulation does not produce good results ever. Ever. Hey, Hour, this is day one. Hour is here. Hour, hi, how are you? Good to see you. She's a day one. Shout out to BC Ade. Thank you. And Treasure Desire, shout out to you. Treasure says, I understand what she's saying, but if one is caught down the line without confessing, it may be worse. How much worse can he get? It's already bad, right? If you're feeling like you need to confess. Like people that feel the need to confess, it's not because it's because something is bubbling in their heart. Something is uncomfortable about There's a weight they're carrying around. There's a weight they're carrying around and they're trying to let go of that weight. Now, let's stop the cap. You're not confessing because you want to be good. Okay? You're not confessing because you're just doing the right thing. I know we like to tell ourselves that. Oh, just do the right thing. Nah, bullshit. You're confessing because there's a weight you're carrying and you're trying to let go of that weight. You're not confessing because you just want to be good to your partner. It's bullshit. You're confessing because there's a weight you're carrying. That's the part I think blessing is missing. There is a weight you're carrying that's overwhelming you, and you need to let go of it so you can feel. You can call it conscience. You can call it whatever you want to call it, right? But it's not. It's not pleasant. Whatever that weight is, it's emotional. It's psychological, and you feel guilty. Self guilt can destroy you absolutely, even if it's not real. There's a lot of people that carry self guilt and they use that to destroy their relationships because they self sabotage, because they're operating from a place of fear. And anytime you operate from a place of fear, you will destroy more stuff than you will build, right? And Michael says this is very deep and she has some valid points. I do think she has some valid points too. But she started with don't confess. Like, it's almost like this person's not trying to confess because they want to do good. They may be telling themselves that, which is another point she's making. This is just you, busybody. You just want to tell. Well, not just because of busybody, because this is still another selfish move on your part. Does that mean you shouldn't confess? No, I didn't say that. At least I didn't say that. We didn't get there yet. Okay. All right. Hey, Precious. Hey, Empress. Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you. Yvette says confession will change everything. Of course. The question is that is it going to change everything for good or for bad? Right? Confession would destroy the existing relationship that we have. But is that a good thing? You know, that could be a good thing. Actually, sometimes you have to demolish that same relationship you have in order to give room to rebuild. As a matter of fact, I think most toxic relationships should be destroyed all the way down to the foundation. A brand new foundation must be built with or without the same person. Okay, that's why it's a terrible idea to try to fix things from the middle or to try to fix it from the limbs of the tree. You got to go back to the foundation because if it's bad, it's bad. And can I give you a newsflash? I'll say, dare I say, most marriages. Okay, this is me generalizing now, but I have my reasons. Most marriages has to be completely demolished at 2 years mark, between 2 and 5 years mark, in order to build a proper foundation. Most marriages are founded on the wrong foundation. And by the way, I'm not talking about just lying, just because you're human, right? I'm not talking about just telling lies. Oh, it was built on the wrong foundation, which is a lie. Bullshit. Just because you're a human being, you're flawed. Both of you, right? Most marriages will be built on the wrong foundation because you just don't know what you don't know. You're infatuated. It's all a facade. It's all about the wedding. Every single one of you. I know it's very easy to say, oh, some people just want to do it because of the wedding. Listen, it's very easy. Remember yesterday, you need to remove the plank in your own eyes first before you try to take out the speck in someone else's eyes. We are all flawed, all of us. And you go into, I don't care how much you prepared, which you should prepare, by the way. Uh, you just don't know what you don't know. You're gonna go into that situation with clouded judgments all over the place. You don't have the context to comprehend what you're about to get yourself into. You don't know what you don't know. So at some point, at around about the 2 years mark, you're gonna feel what I'm talking about, right? And it needs to be demolished so that you can build proper foundation. But you can't do that if you're busy pointing fingers at the other person. Now, granted, there are reasons why you feel the need to point fingers. Maybe you've been hurt, maybe real things happen, somebody was abusive, all those kind of things, right? But ultimately, just keep that at the back of your mind that we all will need to go through that. I don't care. The longer you wait beyond 2 years, the harder the more painful it's going to be to go through the process I'm talking about. Okay. And it's not your fault. It's just you don't know what you don't know, right? You fell in love with somebody, you got married, even if it's arranged marriage. Okay, I know some people are very quick to tell themselves maybe everybody should go back to arranged marriage. No, you're full of crap. It's 2022. That's number one. And context matters. You live in a different world. Hello, right? Confession will change everything. Why cheat in the beginning? It's another topic entirely. Right? That's another topic entirely, right? Why do people cheat? There's a few sentences I said before now that can probably explain that. Living a lie then. Excuse me. Living a lie then. If cheating, there's a problem in the marriage. Thank you. There are deeper issues, right? And either you confess or you don't confess, it's not going to fix it, right? And most people will try to rub a little bit of ajebi don't on it, whatever that is in your language, right? Like a quick healing thing, you just to cover up the wound, right? But if you don't go through the actually work and heal, meaning you can see scar that's sealed and is healed. Scars are fine, but open wounds are bad. A lot of people move on to the next segment, confess, and it's just still an open wound. So for the next few years, which is what she was alluding to, uh, for the potentially for the rest of your life, you're gonna keep hearing it like that. You cheated, but you cheated. A lot of men go through this. What you did years ago, you still have to hear it, and you have to kind of endure that. And either you know it or not, it's affecting your relationship. It's affecting the quality of your relationship if you're going through such things where they have to call you out. Every time you make a little mistake, they remind you of what you did 6, 7 years ago. This is why you must demolish everything and go back to ground zero and build. Because if you don't, those open wounds will come back and will continue to haunt you. Right? There is a problem in the marriage and there will be a steady down climb. Yes. So the solution is not either to confess or to not confess. I think it's neither personally, and it's very important that we say that. It's very important. But let's keep going because we're not done. It's kind of hard to confess though. The best thing is to not cheat. Yes. So we also tend to speak from a place of shoulda, coulda, woulda, what I should have done, what I would have done, but that's not reality. That's in the past. That belongs in the past now. Shout out to Mrs. She Said. Good to see you here, Mrs. She Said. Right? Um, that's in the past. What I should have done, what I could have done, you should have. I get it. That's the natural place we go to, but that doesn't fix anything into the future. Gentlemen, the best thing you can do is acknowledge where you are right now and as point A. What exactly is the point B you're trying to get to? How do we draw a map from point A to point B? If you go back to point -5, it's going to consume all the energy that's required to actually build something on top of this moment, which is the only potential foundation you have, including all of the truth and the weight that carries. Meaning, if you have history and you have all these atrocities you've committed, you're gonna have to pay for that. There's consequences for everything, and if you're not okay with that, you will struggle. You will absolutely struggle. Okay. So yes, it's kind of hard to confess. The best thing, yes, is to rewind time backwards. Right? That's the best thing. But that's unrealistic, right? So yes, the conscience will weigh on and destroy the relationships. Yes. It doesn't have to, but for most people it will. Because most people are not able to. There's a few things here. Start from now. They get consumed by what should have, what could have, and then they get obsessed with everything to the past and everything to the future. And a lot of people don't know how to live in the present, which is the only gift, the only asset. This time in this moment is the only thing you have. Everything else is not promised. And your past, if you're obsessed with your past, to destroy your future. So it's a little tricky, but again, let's get through it, right? Our advice could mislead more calm people, though. Yes, precisely because of what I'm saying. Because again, if you don't confess, it doesn't remove the weight that that person is carrying. There's a reason why they feel the need to confess. Not confessing does not heal. just like confessing does not heal. Okay? All right? It doesn't heal, right? All right, so shout out to D Love. Welcome. Let's continue. Let's see if we can go through this a little bit. Okay. We still got to cover Korra Obidi. All right.
They are not Jesus Christ. They will judge you. Learn to shut up.
That's a fact. The person you're confessing to is not Jesus Christ. We have an idea. We have a problem with the way a lot of people teach forgiveness. On one side, people will say things like, "Forgive, you're doing it for yourself." Listen, that's cute, but you can't manipulate people into forgiveness. Okay, there's a process that people have to go through mentally before they can try to forgive. And remember, it's not just about forgiving you, it's about forgiving themselves too. Because they're asking themselves, why did I allow this person to do this to me? It's a very subconscious thing, right? And on the flip side of things, people are saying, I will never forgive. Like, it's actually you that will probably tend to forgive because you're trying to patch things up and cover things up later on when you're actually in it. So the extremes again are not beneficial. So one thing we can learn from that is that you can't manipulate other people into forgiving you. The only thing you can control is to forgive yourself. However, that's not the end of it, right? That's not the end of it, right? The only thing you can do is forgive yourself, and that's extremely hard to do as well because have more than half the time people are not even acknowledging that I feel like I've offended myself, I've disappointed myself. They're busy looking at and observing everything on the outside, and every healing comes from the inside. Every single healing must be done from the inside. We can put medicine here and there to protect from infection, like a typical anything that you can uh, use as analogy, right? But at the end of the day, the healing must come from the inside. If not, it will be an open wound that will continue to resurface. Sometimes it will resurface in other areas of the body, right? All right.
Cheat. A lot of you actually think that when you confess to your spouses that you cheated, especially when you are not caught, busybody, especially when you are not caught, you actually think that when you confess to your spouses, they would love you, they will forgive you, they will not, they will.
So this goes to what I've been saying all along here, right? That there's no guarantee. Just because you're a good person, if you're not being good for yourself, there's no guarantee. Gentlemen, especially you, okay? There's no guarantee, right? You can, if you're good, be good for your own good. There's a good chance you will attract more good, an extremely good chances, still chances, meaning there's too many layers, too many variables to what happens in this world. The way some people explain it is prayer and faith and religion. That's how some people explain that. They keep praying because you don't know. The point of all of that is that there's too many variables and you're not really in control of anything in the grand scheme of things, but you are in control of a lot. Okay? You are in control of a lot of things. And it has to do with how you respond to life crisis. There's life crisis for everyone, enough to go around. But how you respond to it is everything. Okay? So when you want to be good for yourself. If you're good just because you're good, right? That's usually enough. When you attach it to an expectation that means I must attract good from other people, that's another extra weight. And after time, you're going to be disappointed. Why? Because people are people. They're not doing things because of you or in response to you. There's other things that create, there's a series of things, a sequence of things that create how they behave in any point in time. So sometimes they do things that has, and the reason has nothing to do with you, right? But you overwhelm yourself with trying to control everything so you can create better results with respect to how other people, that's a lot of energy that will consume you. And all the while, your intention is to be good. That's why intentions are overrated, right? So let's keep going. Let's keep going so we can.
Will judge you because they are human. Now, when you cheat.
See, I keep saying that. They are human, they will judge you. I know. You are human, you will be judgmental. That's the whole point of telling you don't be so quick to judge, because you will judge naturally. When you see right and wrong based on your personal moral standard and compass, you call it out. It's a natural next thing to do. It's just we're asking you to rise above just natural, because obviously that's where wisdom comes in, right? That's where emotional intelligence comes in. So let me calm down. Let me apply some patience. Maybe there's something I can't see here. Guarantee there's something you can't see. Guaranteed.
And you don't get caught. That guilt simply means you are human. You still have a conscience. You still feel something for them. Forgive yourself. Confess to God and move on. Confessing to your spouses will not stop you from cheating. Because when you were going to cheat, you did not tell them. Now that you have cheated, they don't need to know. All you need to do is ask yourself.
So, what do you guys think about they don't need to know? That statement, do they need to know? Let me ask you like this. The real question, honestly, the real question you're asking yourself is not the question I just asked. The question you're really asking yourself is like, would I want to know? Right? It becomes personal. Would I want to know if my spouse cheated on me? Right? Nonetheless, it's still a difficult question to answer. Some of you will say, no, I'd rather not know. Right? Let's take that to the grave. Some of you will say, yes, I need to know. And if you're my friend and you don't tell me, that's definitely, I'm going to take an offense to that, right? But across board, if we're going to generalize, the point is that we don't know how you will react. We will never know until you find yourself in such situation. Another reason why we shouldn't judge, right? We will judge. That's just shouldn't again, right? We will judge. But again, just be, if you're self-aware, half the battle is won. Because now you know that I'm being judgmental. Let me listen a little bit further. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a good in all of this. Can you see good and bad ever? Right? Is it beneficial to see good and bad? Beneficial for who? For me or for the other person? If I forgive this person, does that mean I have to stay with this person? Right? See, the layers continues. I can go for 1,000 like that in different layers of different questions that have to be answered. And if you're obsessed with answering every single one of those, what's the point? It's pointless. And some people may have enough gift to say, you know what? I'm going to take some time off and process this. And you know what? Some people say time heals everything. Not necessarily. It's time with other things. In doing, you have to do the work, right? You have to do the work. All right, so let's go.
What is called inner questions. Let me tell you something. This thing called change does not start from talking. This thing called change starts from yourself. If you want to change, you don't need to tell somebody I want to change. You start to internalize it.
She's absolutely correct about that. Change, authentic change comes from the inside out. It's inevitable, it's constant. So either you're working on it and learn how to steer it in the direction you want, or change is going to happen regardless. Right? You don't really have a choice. It's not a matter of choice. You don't get to say, I'll never change. I hear people say that. I'll never change. This is just me. That's bullshit. I'll call that out. Right? Everyone will change. Everyone evolves. So when you're accusing your partner of, oh, they've changed on you, just remember that there's a good chance you change too. But of course, you can smell your own breath because you're not on the receiving end of it, right? All right. So change comes from inside. She's right about that. Now, is that a good reason to not confess? Well, like I said earlier, confession is actually the least of your problems. Right? It's actually the least of your problem. Somebody said, I was on Clubhouse earlier. Somebody said, Ola, you're a high value man. You know the drill. Deny, deny, and deny. I disagree with that. Because again, denying is you're covering stuff up that's fiery in nature. When it does come, it will eventually come out one way or the other. Okay. Am I saying you should confess? I'm not saying that yet. Not yet. Okay. Not yet. But am I saying that's what I would say? Not necessarily.
And this change actually starts from asking yourself question, why did I even cheat? What did he do wrong? When you internalize it and understand that, this person did not even do me anything. No, it was a mistake. I was horny you, blah, blah, blah. You will now understand the reason why you did that thing. Confessing to the person will not change anything. I know most of you want to confess so that you want to act like a good girl, a good boy, so that they.
Yes, she's correct about that. A lot of reason why people want to confess, like I said earlier, is to cover it with cover the wound. It's the same reason why most people apologize. Like, okay, I'm sorry, so we can just move forward, right? And then you're going to do that if you actually move forward, or it looks like you move forward. Eventually the value of I'm sorry will get watered down. Like everything gets old, right? It will get watered down, and eventually your sorry is not going to be good enough. So if you apologize, and I always say, make sure you're apologizing from a place of authenticity, that you've actually assessed what happened, and also that it's going to be received on the other end. And being received on the other end doesn't have to be a now thing, but bottom line is that you've processed the situation. But a lot of people just say I'm sorry from they say it from can we just move forward? They don't usually make up their face. They will even act remorseful if you want, and they say I'm sorry, but eventually you will start to resent I'm sorry, right? So it's the same thing when we try to cover things up with let me just confess, and hopefully we can get over it. It's the same effect. No, the healing is necessary from the inside out. Starting with you, take the time to process what happened. And if I were you, if we're talking about this type of case, actually, I would definitely seek for wise counsel. If you can't afford a professional, talk to your pastor. Hopefully, your pastor knows what they're doing. Most pastors, especially if it's Nigeria, they don't know what they're doing. Okay, but there are some that know what they're doing. Okay, talk to a wise counsel. Okay, to help you, but don't think just because I didn't confess, because Blessing CEO said don't confess, that it's over. It is not over. Okay, it's not over. You patched it up. You put a plaster over it, but it's an open wound and it's infected already, and you didn't treat properly, right? It will come back and haunt you. It will come back and bite you in the butt. Okay, because there's a reason. Remember, precisely because there's a reason why you were boiling and you wanted to confess in the first place. But I agree with that. Just confession is not the end of it. That's the beginning. First of all, you're going to destroy everything you've had. That's number one. It's like somebody saying we have to do DNA test. I think we should make DNA test mandatory. I said, okay, good. I think so too. First of all, that would never happen. Not right now, at least. Number two, what about the actual thing that's going on? Where did this doubt come from in the first place? Right? Most people that I know personally, they will have kids, they can see one feature or two and say, this is my child, right? But for some reason, that's not enough, right? Maybe for real, somebody committed paternity fraud on you, right? But why? How did you find out? What are the underlying things going on? Just the DNA test is not going to solve the problem. It's just another thing that people will say on the surface level and think, oh, somehow that will solve a lot of problems. No, it won't. The only thing that can solve the problems of human interaction comes from the inside out. It's you as an individual learning how these things work. Okay? All right.
Trust you. They will not trust you, they will judge you. Human beings are human beings. They are not God. Why? Because they cannot see your intention. They only see your action. The reason why it's so easy for God to forgive us our sins is because He sees our intention. If people can actually see your intention, they would forgive you. But human beings cannot. It's only what you put out. Even if you had a good intention, sometimes we cheat for different reasons. Even though I'm not.
That's what I mean when I say intentions are overrated. Intentions are good. Having good intentions are good, but please don't overrate it. Okay, it's only so far it can work. If you have good intention, does not guarantee you'll create good results. Just FYI, you need to be aware that it's another factor is how does it land on the other end, right? How is it being received on the other hand? Are they capable of understanding or comprehending your good intentions? Is that really something you control? Or they have other trauma that won't even let them be able to comprehend it? These are things you should pay attention
An
to.
advocate that cheating is a mistake. But you have a reason why you did that. It could be that you were vulnerable. It could be that you desired something at that point in time. It's just between you and your God. And intention is not what human being can internalize. They don't understand intention. They only understand action.
Now, somebody just heard right there that she justified cheating, right? When she said they have their reasons. Reasons are not justifications, okay? They just, when you do root cause analysis of why somebody behave a certain way, reasons are not the same thing as justification, okay?
So there is no amount of explanation you want to give to your spouses. Hey, I cheated because you are not around. I cheated because you traveled. You always look stupid. In as much as they say that they will forgive you, they will always use it against you. Especially women. Especially women.
Yes, they will use it against you, but that's not the reason not to confess. There are deeper reasons to not confess, right? At least not now. Again, do the work, seek help, right? And be okay with the idea that they may not be able to tolerate the idea of staying with you forever. Because again, if you choose, again, we're talking about a person that was boiling in you. You really needed to confess, right? It's making you uncomfortable. You've lost sleep. You can't sleep at night because of this thing you committed. So not confessing is not going to solve your problem, right? So if you're that person, just realize that confessing doesn't solve it either. There's a process you have to go through, right? And be okay with the idea that they may never want to be with you ever again. You can't, by the way, you can't manipulate them into forgiving you. You have to be, your healing is in being okay with yourself and saying, hey, there are some consequences that will come with this, with leaving my truth, right? Your truth, right? There's a consequence that will come with it. And you have to be okay with that. And I think that's something that she's not spelling out properly. But I'm just adding context. She's not necessarily wrong, but it's half truth, half lie. Your problem is not solved if you don't confess. There's more work that needs to be done. But she's right that just confessing does not solve the problem. Okay?
You have cheated. We have heard you. Can you just shut up and go to God and pray? Especially if they did not catch you. And if they catch you, you can now confess because you cannot be lying. But if they did not catch you, shut up, forgive.
If they catch you, you should confess. That's no longer a confession. You got caught, right? You got caught, right? So, anyway.
Yourself and move on. You don't have to be running your mouth. I cheated. You're trying to be a good girl. You're trying to be a good girl. That's not how to be a good girl. Being a good girl simply means when you cheat, you forgive yourself and don't do it again. You don't need to go and be confessing and running your mouth, busybody. Just talk too much. If you don't have anything to talk about in your relationship or marriage, chew gum. Some things are better left unsaid.
What do y'all think about that statement? Some things are better left unsaid. Do you think it must be absolutely share everything transparency? Or do you think that some things are better left unsaid? I'm going to leave that question to you, ladies and gentlemen. Are some things better left unsaid? I mean, knowing fully well that at least the first 18 years of an average person, this person is not aware, right? If you're a Christian, let me give you an example. You're a Christian, right? And you remember that they put all kind of marks on your back because you used to collapse and pass out every time. So your grandfather put some beret, like marks on your back, spiritual scribes all over your back. And then, do you think it's a good idea when you get married? You're a Christian. Long after you converted, you're now saved. Do you think it's a good idea to share such thing with the husband that is for him, those kind of fetish things will throw him off? Do you think it's a good idea to share that, or you rather leave those kind of things unsaid? Right? What do you guys think? Right? What do you think about that?
Shut up. That's why God gave you a heart that nobody can see. Only you can internalize it. Busybody, radio with that battery. Pro. Shut up. Tap. When you cheat.
All right. So she said people talk too much. I agree with that. Too many people are talking too much. Gentlemen on social media are talking way too much right now. They think everything has to be spelled out. And Yoruba people say, I agree 100% with that. Okay. Precious Babe says she's kind of right though. I used to know a couple that confesses to cheating with the intention that their spouse will forgive them, but reverses the case. It actually ruined their marriage. Yes, it will. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with this thing. Let me see here. Let me just look at the audio setting here. All right, let's see here. Uh, hello. All right, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what turned down the volume, but you guys should probably hear me better now. But I shouldn't have to move my mouth so close. It really never really had to be there. Okay. All right. Can you hear me better now? You should be able to hear me better now. It was automatically adjusting. All right. So it should be better now. Sorry about that. Right. So it ruined their marriage. Yes. For 100% of the time, it's going to ruin their marriage first. Like I said, such marriage should be demolished all the way to ground zero anyway. It doesn't mean you can't be with the same person, but both of you must get on the same page of demolishing everything. Because if you don't, even if they say yes, I accept, it will haunt you. They will never forgive you if you try to fix it from the middle. Because why? They're humans, right? They'll keep reminding you of what you've done, right? So wait, did I finish that? It's actually ruined their marriage. Yes, ours says maybe some things are better left undone. Yes, they are. Okay. Does that mean you should be living in lies? No, that's not what I said. If you think that equates or that's equivalent of living in lies, keep coming back. We'll keep having this conversation, please. Okay. Hola, we know they hear you. Hopefully, it's better now. Okay. Uh, Yvette says, I hear without any difficulty. Okay. Thank you. It should be fine now. Uh, D Lover says, exactly. I can't stand a cheater. Yeah. So you don't know how they react. That's why I say you have to be, if you're going to confess, prepare yourself that you're okay if they can't stand ever seeing you for the rest of their lives. There are some people like that. Most of them, they don't know until they're in that situation. Most people that say, D Love, let me call some caps right now. Most people that say I can't stand it tend to be the one that will stand it eventually, because that same spirit of I can't stand it, they try to pretend like it didn't happen, but it happened. Right? The mind works in reverse. Right? So just keep that at the back of your mind. You don't know what you do until you're in that situation. All right. Uh you can hear me perfectly. All right, good. So let's get into the last part, the title topic of today. Let's round up with that. Again, I promise you, we're gonna try to keep it to 1 hour. Okay. And it's Korra Obidi. She's an influencer online. She's a singer, all of that, right? And we've covered her here in the past. Uh, but she's going through a nasty divorce with her white husband. Yes, I did say white husband. That's important details. So she says something. Let's play it. Let's see.
Oh, guys, don't get divorced. Get separated. But divorce is not for the weak. And separated from your 6-month-old for a whole week is not for the weak. It's not. I try to keep my composure all week long. But last night I broke because I saw something. I saw strangers touching my child. I broke. It's not for the weak.
Yes, she was a
It's
divorce.
not natural. It's necessary sometimes. So you better make sure that you know. But I'm going through it for sure. I'm going through it. I'm going through the thick of it. I'm in the heart of it. Oh, guys, don't get divorced. Get separated. But divorce is not for the weak. And separated from your six.
What did she say? She said, "Don't get divorced. Get separated." I'm not really getting the logic. Maybe someone can explain to me. Don't get divorced. Get separated because divorce is not natural, right? Now she's going through it. You know, um, there are two things that I noticed that people tend to cap about. they tend to cap. Not anybody in particular, but I know a lot of people that cap around this, and eventually they start to crumble, right? One of them is being single. Being single is not fun. All right. So there are three. Sorry, there are three. But it can be fun because it can be a good moment to really work on yourself, especially if you have the context of being with the person before in the past. It's a good moment to work on yourself and work on why you may have attracted bad situations in the past, right? Because once you engage a relationship again, it's hard to learn what you can learn when you're single, right? But nonetheless, if you've never really engaged anyone, there's nothing you're learning. There's no frame of reference. Okay. The second thing where people cap a lot is single motherhood or single fatherhood. I can do bad all by myself. I can do bad all by myself. That's cap. You can't. You know, the weight that my wife carries in my lifestyle, I can't imagine trying to carry that by myself. I'm sure she would say the same thing, right? I can't imagine it. And nonetheless, yet I hear people say these things on the internet like it's nothing. Like, oh yeah, I could do bad all by myself. No, you can't. There's no such thing. It doesn't exist in real life. Okay. That's the second place where people cap a lot. The third place where people cap a lot is divorce. Divorce is hard. It's hard. It's harder. Dare I say it's harder than working on whatever happened, as long as we're not talking about abuse. Okay? It's hard. No, oh, by the way, it's still hard. Even if it's a situation that warrants it. And yes, sometimes life warrants divorce. Okay? So, but this is, I don't know, months later, she's now saying, okay, they carried for a mother, of course, 6 months old. They took our children away for a week. Not permanently. He just is a father who has rights and he has those babies. But those are some of the toughest moments for a mother, a natural mother who cares, right? So Yvette says, divorce is natural in my estimation. It happens frequently. I see what you mean. I just don't know if it's relevant to natural or nature or not. I think it's the outcome of certain situations or certain ways of moving in relationships, right? It's just an outcome. It's like saying marriage is natural. It can feel natural because it's the natural order of things, I guess. But it's a social construct. It's something that that's just part of survival. As human beings, we're social beings, we're emotional beings. We want to, part of our emotional basic needs is love and connection. Should we call that natural? I guess, But like you said, when we look at the numbers, it's almost saying that divorce is natural, right? But she's telling you that it doesn't feel that way because it's a painful process for anyone to go through, even when it's warranted. So don't pray this for yourself, okay? Don't pray this for yourself, indirectly or directly. Don't do that to yourself, right? And I'll give you an example of somebody doing that in a second. I think I have an example here. Our says, well, I guess is in response to her being a divorcer, right? Divorcers are attention seekers. What does that mean? Get separated. Olodo. Marriott, shout out to you. I'm trying to figure out what she meant. I'm not sure too. What she meant by separation is better than divorce. I'm not sure what that meant. I was hoping somebody can help me. She had an online marriage and an online family. She's addicted to social media. She overshares too much. Yeah, it goes back to what we were saying earlier. You can talk too much. Talking too much can destroy relationships, especially when you apply 2-3 million monitoring spirits on the internet. Had multiply that by 10 from the Shade Room and Instablog Niger. And you're a person who reads all of the comments. Yes, that will destroy you. Absolutely. And by the way, it's hard to not read if you're a celebrity like her. Probably that was the advice she was given. Yeah, maybe, right? Yeah, hard on the children as well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I can do worse by myself. It's more like it. Yes, worse, right? Even when it's inevitable, divorce no be more. Divorce no be your mate, right? Don't pray that for yourself. All right. So let's go here. There's one more I want to share with you. Time is up. Right now, we're going to keep it 1 hour and keep coming back. How many people are looking forward to that topic that I keep postponing? Uh, does the what's the topic? I forgot the topic now. Something about Proverb 31 wife. Does that still exist? Does the Proverb 31 wife still exist? Do you guys care about that topic? Would you care for that topic? All right, so let's look at this lady right here. All right. What's her name? Tawa Ajishefini. She's an actress. She had a few things to say about her marital home. Speaking of talking too much, uh, people like my wife and I, we have we told a story inside of our book. You have to get into the book, which is a sign that you are actually trying to solve a problem before you can hear the story. We keep things very general when we're on YouTube videos and stuff like that. We talk about other people's story precisely for a reason. For a reason. We have our reasons for doing that. But online in-laws are dangerous, just like real life in-laws. Just so you know. But let me play this.
Husband deflowered me because my husband is the only man tó gun orí mi rí láyé lọ́run títí di àsìkò tá a wà tí mo dẹ̀ bẹ́lọ̀ pé mi bẹ́lọ̀ kí n kọ́kọ́.
She said her husband deflowered her. Her husband is the first person that disvirgin her. So she's praying to God that
Mi bẹ́lọ̀ ká burú ṣọkọ mi bẹ́lọ̀ ká burú ṣe mí.
she's praying to God that nothing bad happens to her husband and nothing bad should happen to her.
Ìyẹn ò sọ wípé kí Mr. Ali kó má lọ gbó lórí burúkú kan dání kó lóò tí obìnrin kan tó ń dó.
She said that doesn't mean Mr. Ali, I guess she's referencing her husband, should not go and carry another woman that he's fucking.
Men, lots of kò ní wá sí mọ́ pé àìní mo dẹ̀ di flower tower. I love her so much.
So he's not going to, she's saying that he won't remember that, oh, I disvirgin this girl, I shouldn't do this to this girl.
That is ọkùnrin. That is ọkùnrin. Kò sí.
She said that is men. Generalizations.
Ìlérí tọkùnrin lè ṣe fún ẹ ìgbà tó bá ń dùn mọ́ lọ. Níjọ́ tó wọ́n kọ́kọ́ dó mi nínú ilé ìlọ́dún náà lọ́hùn. I will not betray you. I love.
This is what the husband was saying when she was being deflowered. I will not betray you. I love you, right?
Love you.
See, I became an interpreter of Songokon.
Ẹ jẹ́ ó dọ̀la. Ẹ wo Kùránì mi rè àdàbí. Mo like àdàbí gan. Ṣùgbọ́n ha náà láì Mùsùlùmí ni mí o. Mo mọ̀ ọ́ ṣe.
So she's saying she will pray. I don't know what she's exactly trying to pray. What would happen if the husband does cheat, right?
Àdùkùránì Bíbélì mi ni mo gbójúlé àdùkùránì mi ni mo gbójúlé. Bí mo ṣe máa pè rè. Man allow àdàbí. Salam aleikum. Àdàbí yẹn ó wà lè má jà nísìnyí o ṣùgbọ́n máa jà lọ́jọ́ kan. Bí mi ṣe máa mú dání ní fọ́lọ́run. Allow husband deflowered me because my husband is the only.
All right. So what is the gist here? As innocent as she seems, right? To be talking about this, I think people have no idea how powerful all of our spirits, even at individual level, much less. Let's see how many people have responded to this. Only God knows. I mean, tons upon tons of spirits, monitoring spirits, including myself, right? They have no idea how dangerous it is for them to come online and talk about their personal relationships in this manner. Even if they are good people. See, you could be all the good people you want. Remember, you're dealing with another human being, at least another one extra human beings, right? So be careful with social media. It will destroy you, okay? Be careful with talking too much. Exactly what do we mean by talking too much? Please hit the like button if you're just coming in. Hit the like button. Thank you. I appreciate you. What do we mean by talking too much? It's just, I don't know. Some people say it's only the highlights that people show on the internet. Yes, but that's exactly what it should be. The highlights. Of course, you have moments of disagreement with anyone in life that you have any type of relationship with. What do we do in business? We take the best moments, we showcase it. We don't go showcase when we weren't able to satisfy a customer. We don't do that. Anytime a customer is satisfied, we showcase that. Why do you think personal relationships or romantic relationships will be different? Oh, don't believe these people because they always highlight only the good moments. Tell and call and before, what do you expect? Do you not see the advantages of doing that? What advantages is there in showcasing all of the bad moments? First of all, bad moments are fewer, but they are negative, so they are 10 times or more, much more powerful, and they can destroy you and your relationship. So again, some of these rhetorics that you're hearing, maybe it's not you saying it, be careful with them. Social media is dangerous because it's media. Okay. It's just too many monitoring spirits. Okay. And a lot of these people are not going to get it until they fall flat on their face. And it's hard. Let me be clear. It's hard when you know you can get attention. And the first, remember, we all need validation to an extent. And the first place you run to when you're going through something is to go share it on social media. I think we all know the answer to that. That's not going to work out well for the most part, right? All right. So let's see. Empress says social media in laws. Yes, they're just as dangerous, if not more, than real life in laws. In laws are dangerous. I don't care how old they are dangerous. Okay? I don't care. It's not something that's subconscious. Okay? It is what it is. Just so be prepared when you get married to a person and they have a relationship with their family. Be prepared. It's dangerous. All right. Marriott says, I didn't know who she was until she announced a divorce. Yep. Yep. Sorry about that. And Maria says, yes, the Proverb 31 was a workhorse and her husband was chilling. I don't want to be a Proverb 31 wife. Lobaton. Controversial, I know. All right, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. All right, so yes, that was generalization there. As natural as it gets, right? And Empress says, even the Bible say, who can find a virtuous woman? I don't wish to be too. Lobaton. Jesus Christ. Ladies, come on. I don't wish to be too. Proverb 31 woman is not realistic in this time and age. Jesus. All right, we're going to dissect it tomorrow. I don't know why people in romantic and marriage relationship accept marriage counselors showcase their everything online. Yeah, even marriage counselor. Yeah, we actually, if like as content creators, we have to be much more careful because the higher you are, the harder you can fall. So shout out to my brother, one of the day ones here, Big Bad Bull. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you for always supporting. All right, so that's it for today. We'll be back here tomorrow, same time. 5:30 is what we're doing right now. 5:30 is what we're doing right now. Okay, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 1 hour. I want to keep to the time, so you can always trust me to keep to the time. I'm having a hard time. I'm like 9 minutes over right now. But we're gonna do that. I'm adjusting accordingly because I want you to go back to your family, to your friends, and have, and spend time with them because online relationships are fake. Do I need to say any much more than that? Okay. So I want to make sure that you value this 1 hour that we spent together. But for now, we're gonna keep doing it 5:30. Don't forget, my wife and I will be with Auntie B on Friday. Not yet confirmed again. I guess she's busy. But most likely we will. I know she's coming off of a harvest weekend. So she's been busy with that. So we will on Friday. Make sure you meet us over there. It's gonna be a lot of fun times. The topic was how to survive. How to survive. The temporary topic we didn't confirm it yet is how to survive the Obodo Yibo marriage. Something like that. Something like that. Something to that effect. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So please look out for that. All right. And hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Empress. Thank you, Bhagavad Gita Karma. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you for the support. We're going to be building this platform together. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure it lit blue before you leave. And if you came in late, make sure you watch everything from the beginning. This was actually a very, very good session. All right. So hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one, and peace.